This is an impromptu topic. Sorry, I'm kind of blindsiding you with this, but I wanted to talk about why we didn't cover one of the big pieces of news at the show this year. This was another sort of having to draw a line in the sand. We were supposed to get 7 videos this week, and we ultimately didn't end up making one of them because, partly through my own error, we arrived at a booth and realized that the people that we were about to cover had ripped off the community in the past.
Yeah.
And I had, not intentionally, but I had been complicit. And
that was not about to happen again.
Yeah, and that's not going to happen again. So one of the big things at the show was this super cool, and I saw it, I was briefed on it. It's super cool, but this collaborative case between Streetcom and Calios that's capable of dissipating, they say 600, but actually it's more like 700 watts passively, depending on the thermal output of your CPU and GPU. So it has 2 loops and they're identical, but they rate, I think, the CPU one slightly lower, just because most CPUs are not going to hit that level anyway, or something like that. I forget. There's some reason that one of them is like rated a little bit lower when they talk about the product overall. But actually, if you had a differently balanced system, it could even dissipate a little bit more heat. So I arrived. Oh, right. So first, let's talk about who these folks are. So Streetcom, tons of respect. Love those guys. They do just great job of manufacturing super sleek aluminum cases and accessories and stuff like that. In fact, they make the test benches that we use for the lab. Really cool modular test benches that like pack flat, like awesome. Actually, oh, hold on. Yeah, that is Streetcom, right? Yeah, the open bench table. Yeah, that thing is sick. Just have like a, is it Streetcom? Yeah, it's Streetcom. Cool. So Streetcom makes that. Love those guys. Now let's talk about Calios. Do you guys remember the passive like 300 watt or 350 watt case from like 6 years ago? Kickstarter campaign. Do you remember this thing? It was pumpless, which was super cool. So it's full of refrigerant, and then the heat from the CPU, or GPU and GPU, whatever, would force, would cause the refrigerant to evaporate, and then it would start moving, and then it would condense, and then it would actually start flowing on its own without any kind of pumping system. So the whole thing was completely silent. Super cool tech. They raised $250,000 on Kickstarter, give or take, and then ghosted. Nobody who bought one of nobody who bought one of those original cases ever got anything for their money, as far as I can tell. And this was a significant amount of money. This case was over $500 on average, right? Because remember, with Kickstarter, there's the different tiers depending on how early you fund it. And I covered the case. In fact, I covered them twice. Once I covered the case, actually, it might have been 3 times. I don't remember anymore, but I definitely covered it at least twice. I covered the case in our studio and tested it, and it was amazing and super cool. And then I covered another collaborative project they were doing on like a smaller cube passive system later on at a trade show at CES or something like that. And I took a lot of people are in the chat here. I thought they collapsed. Well, no, they didn't. Calios existed before and still exists now. I mean, their main business is B2B cooling solutions, like silent, passive cooling solutions. And they work in all kinds of different industries, including like they have some history in the aerospace industry, for example. And so they had the experience with cooling, and they had the backing. They had the reputation as a real company that made me comfortable promoting this as a product that genuinely would exist. where they would overcome the challenges and actually deliver these to people. And they just didn't. They just didn't deliver them. And I want to tell both sides of the story here because I actually had the Calios founder and I also had the new CEO of Calios there in the booth with me. And they basically went like, look, we spent 3 times the amount of the Kickstarter backers trying to make this thing happen. There were challenges we didn't foresee. We were naive. It was a smaller team, and I'm sorry we didn't deliver anything, but it was Kickstarter. And I kind of went, okay.
That's not really how that works.
But what about people's money? And they're like, okay, we have a solution for that. And I go, okay, I would like to hear your solution, because I basically got the briefing and I told them we have two paths here. Either you tell me how you're going to make this right,
and it's
and I make
good,
and I make a video about this.
Yeah. Or
you don't tell me how you're going to make this right, and I walk away, and I'm not acknowledging your company here. And they go, okay, no, we have a solution for this. For everyone who backed the original case, they will get a voucher for the full amount of their backing toward the new case. And I went, on the surface, that sounds possibly pretty okay.
To note that it's not a whole new case, though. So what's the delta here?
Well, the new case can dissipate about double the heat. It's a much nicer looking design. It's lighter. However, the new case is priced according to its heat dissipation capabilities.
Yeah.
So they were offering a credit of $500 essentially. Let's say $575 towards a $1,000 case. And I'm sitting here going, this is interesting. Shotkey in Twitch chat has an uncharacteristically terrible take for Twitch chat, and that's really something. So you blackmailed them. No, I didn't blackmail them. That's not what blackmail is. You should go look up what blackmail is.
Sort of what that is.
Anyway, it's amazing how confused people get sometimes. So, sorry, they offered. So they're offering, let's say a $600. Let's round up. They're offering a $600 voucher for a $1,000 product, and I kind of went, so are you serious right now? You took my money. Let's say hypothetically, I'm one of these buyers. You took my money, my significant amount of money 6 years ago, and you're coming back to me now saying, no, but we're really going to ship you something this time. All we need is
double your money,
more money. Needless to say, I wasn't happy with that. I didn't consider that acceptable. I said that's a good option that people should have. But at the end of the day, they need to also have the option to have their money back. Because the way that it works is, if you're a real company that behaves like a real company, when you take someone's money and you don't ship them a product, then you should give them their money back. And they kind of went, yeah, but it was Kickstarter. It was a small team. It was a offshoot Skunkworks project. And I go, okay, but like, this is your integrity we're talking about. I'm not talking about your legal obligations here. I'm talking about your integrity as a company, as a person. The right thing to do if you take someone's money and don't deliver it and don't deliver the product is to give them their money back. And they basically, this is when I was talking to the founder, and they basically went, look, I have to discuss this with the new CEO. Let me get back to you. I said, okay, well, I'm going to go, check out the rest of the show floor, see if there's anything else cool to cover, and we'll go from there. And here's my cell. Just give me a call when you guys have had a chance to talk about it, and we'll go from there. So I get a call a few hours later, and classic brand tactics. They go, okay, we've talked about it. Yeah. We've come to a solution. I'm like, okay, cool. What is it? And they're like, why don't you swing by the booth? And I go, why don't we just talk about it on the phone? because
It should be a simple answer.
if the news was good,
Yeah.
they would just tell me.
Yeah.
But I was like, realistically, you know what? Andy and Jake are about to order food. Get me one of whatever Jake's having, and I'm gonna hobble over to the booth, and I will tell them no in their faces, because whatever, I'm not afraid of that. If they think that bringing me there is going to somehow make me change my line in the sand that I've drawn, then they've got something else coming. So sure, I'll play your game. So I get there and they tell me, okay, what if it was some kind of, shares in the, what if they got what if in addition to the discount, they got some kind of share in the profits of the new product? And I'm sitting here going, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
I know that I had discussed how Kickstarter is sort of dumb because it's basically, investment where you don't get any equity, right? Because it's either buying a product or it's kind of that, right? And you can't. Both of them are sort of. Well, buying a product is fine unless the product doesn't get delivered, in which case it's basically just taking people's money, right? And I kind of went, yeah, I mean, hey, thanks for playing, but that's actually not how this works. If you guys are a real company with integrity, then what you do is you give them back their money. I also run a physical goods business. We also make mistakes from time to time. And when we do, we eat it. And
you can always offer like, oh, if you don't take a refund and you take a credit towards the next thing, we'll like bump up its value by a small amount.
Or not even. If you're happy with the credit, take the credit.
That too.
But getting a refund needs to be an option.
Yeah, it should be possible.
And I understand what they're saying. They made a car comparison. They were like, we originally sold a Citroen and now we're shipping a BMW. We can't just like ship everyone who paid for a Citroen a BMW. And I'm like,
totally.
Yeah, 100%.
So refund them.
Because you didn't ship the Citroen. You never shipped it.
Yeah.
And so the really baffling thing about this to me is that if Calios is a real company and they really do have any integrity whatsoever, this is such a small price to pay. The total backing was about $250,000,
which is a lot of money, but
which is a lot of money
on like big manufacturing business scale.
But if you're looking to just put this in the past for real, do it properly. And if you want a PR win, you basically say, look, yeah, we'll offer you a refund, but we actually think it's a better play if you take the credit and get this much better case. They'd probably convert a lot of people to the new case. But they're trying to eat their cake and have it too. They're trying to just keep money from people who are not going to use the credit for the case, seem like they're looking like good guys, and launch this new case and kind of go, well, we tried. Because none of those people are, unless they actually, offer a refund, are going to be interested in their new promises. And you know what? It might be different this time. Streetcom assures me it'll be different. I trust them still because they're the manufacturing partner, helping bring this thing to life. And I feel bad for Streetcom because it seems like they came into this having done nothing wrong, ultimately, just recognizing this is a super cool technology and wanting to bring it to gamers. So I feel bad for them, right? But no, at the end of the day, this is not a Kickstarter. There's a big difference for me between a Kickstarter from like a dude in a basement trying to build a hammer that turns into a crowbar and just ultimately not being able to figure it out, and a company launching a product on Kickstarter or launching a new product category on Kickstarter. In terms of the trust that I have and my expectation that this company will behave in a way that is that protects their reputation, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all trust me, bro. So with a company that has some kind of established reputation, I look at it and I go, well, you probably want to maintain that, so I can probably safely hand you my money. And in this case, that was not the case at all. And that's kind of a funny pun because there was no case at all. They never shipped one. And I basically said, look, we're not going to do it. So that's my
There's still no update on the hammer, by the way. I just checked. The last update says we're back. June 4th, 2022. We're almost at the 1-year anniversary of that. We're gonna get there.
It's too bad, because I really, yeah. Here's a much better Twitch take from Tom Smith. If you see an ad for a $600 case and you go to the store and they say instead you have to buy $1,000 case, that's called bait and switch, and that's even without collecting any money. Yeah, it's like, and yes, I know Kickstarter's terms do shield them from any kind of legal liability here, but
yeah, but why would you trust that company?
The law is not the be all and end all of how we should treat each other.
Yeah.
Like by law, you know, I'm allowed to try, like you can be kind of a dickbag and still not break the law, you know? That doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
Like I mean, if you ever,
yeah, Flowplane chat is like laws are not morality, legal does not equal ethical.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Law is the bare minimum.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we didn't cover it, and it's too bad. But I just think at the end of the day, they had an opportunity to relatively cheaply actually put this behind them. I really wanted to cover the product, not just today, but going forward. I want one. You know, like I actually want one, and I wanted the views on it.
Even if I was certain it would show up at this point, I would not personally buy one.
I wanted the views.
Yeah.
But would you buy one if they offered a refund to everyone who didn't get one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, see, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, okay, I'm not like guaranteeing I would go and purchase one immediately,
but
I would definitely consider it because it is super cool. It's a very cool product. It's sweet. So like, yeah,